The question today is, who are the Nicolaitans? And specifically, what are the deeds, what are the doctrine of the Nicolaitans? And this comes from Revelation 2, where Jesus says to the church of Ephesus, "But this thou hast, that thou hatest the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate." Now, if Jesus hates the deeds, we should hate the deeds. He speaks to the church of Pergamos in Revelation 2 verse 15, and he says, "So thou hast also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate." Again, if Jesus hates this, we should know what he hates, so we don't fall in the same trap or get caught up in the same doctrinal positions or teachings. So the only way to find this out is yes, you can look at the context and during the time, and like if, for example, when I looked at this for the first time, I said, okay, did Paul talk about this? And if you go to Acts 20 verse 29, it's 29 to 30. Now Paul's talking to the Ephesian church, and this is about 40 years before John's writing to them, right? So my question is, were there any involvement? Did he give a warning about something that's about to come? And he did. "For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things, to draw away disciples after them." And then he continues, and then he ends off in Acts 20 verse 33, and he says, "I have coveted no man's silver or gold or apparel." Why did he make that statement? Is he making that statement because those grievous wolves would covet people's silver and gold and apparel? In other words, self-gratification. They're focusing on the flesh, apparel, clothing, gold and silver. Then you look at the early church leaders and see what they had to say about the Nicolaitans. Now, I found that there were only three. There probably is more, but there were three that I found between 100 to 200 AD. One was Irenaeus, the other one was Tertullian, and the third one was Clement of Alexandria, not Clement of Rome. And I looked up what they had to say. Now, Tertullian said this, that they focus on the maintenance of lust and luxury. How do they continually focusing on lust and luxury, like pleasing themselves, basically? Now, Clement wrote something more, so I'm going to just quote what he says. "They abandon themselves to pleasures like goats, as if insulting the body, led a life of self-indulgence, not knowing that the body is wasted, being by nature subjected to dissolution, while their soul," obviously not focusing on their soul, "while their soul is buffeted in the mire of vice." In other words, the pressures, they're not focusing on the soul, and therefore it's being knocked to and fro. "Following as they do the teaching of pleasure itself, not of the apostolic man." So their teaching is about pleasure itself. How do they get pleasure? How do they gratify themselves? How do they benefit themselves? That's their teaching. They're focusing on the flesh and not the soul, as Clement says. So hopefully this gives you some perspective of what the doctrine and the teachings of the Nicolaitans were. God bless. Bye-bye.